eXp Commercial throughout the course of us.
We're live.
All right. Good morning, everybody. We started just about a minute early today. And there's our recording. Today is going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be a little bit more special. We do eXp Commercial Explained this same exact time every single Thursday. And we've done about 26, maybe 28 of these so far, which you can find on our eXp Commercial YouTube channel. And you can also go back and see interviews of some of the phenomenal commercial brokers and agents that have joined eXp Commercial throughout the course of us being launched just this year. But today we want to talk about something that really has made eXp Commercial that more innovative real estate commercial brokerage. And you know, data is the most important thing when it comes to us being able to evaluate properties, being able to look up information on a property, really having the knowledge of our farming area, but not just the farming area. Why limit it to that? Let's have access to the entire United States when it comes to every piece of real estate. And so most brokerages have to be reliant on third-party services in order to have access to this data. Or maybe they have to, have an analyst on staff. Maybe they haven't been trained appropriately to do that broker opinion of value. Maybe, there's all different ways, there's all different issues and so forth. But today, what we're going to unveil to you is what we have launched to all of eXp Commercial. And as a matter of fact, we've allowed eXp Realty to have access to this information because as we started going down the process of making sure our agents had access to all this great data when it came to real estate, we said, you know what? Let's just include it all. Let's have commercial properties and let's have residential properties. So today, our special guest is Ben Greenberg, who has joined us, he along with his team at Enrich Data, we have built this entire product of all of the United States, every piece of property to have access for our agents to have access to data and to be able to do broker opinions of value. So I'm going to turn this over to Ben. Ben, before we get started on everything, I want you to, we're going to do a screen share. We're going to demo this, but let's talk about what really enriched data, eXp enriched data is for our agents and our brokers.
Absolutely. Good morning, and thank you very much for having me here. I'm just going to share screen real quickly. All right. We've got a lot to share with you, so I want to make sure everything is visual because that's what data is all about. It's not just about what's behind the machine, right?
Absolutely.
So this partnership between Enrich Data and eXp is by far one of the most exciting things that we have done since we launched this platform. It is the first opportunity for a national brokerage firm to monetize a national database. And what I mean by that is the moment that we signed this contract between eXp and Enrich Data, eXp got a complete duplicate of the entire database that we have built over the last 8 years. What that means is 151 million property records around the United States, including residential and commercial. And how that really separates eXp's database from the others out there, the big giant out there, they only follow 7 to 8 million properties. They're only following the institutional guys, right? And eXp, it's a national footprint in every single type of market, secondary and tertiary markets, where the guys who are touching residential are also touching commercial, and they have no data support from the big guys. And so we're very excited for that opportunity to provide a national database owned by eXp that covers every single property in the United States and receives, on average, 10 million updates on a weekly basis. And yes.
Well, Ben, I wanted to interject there because yesterday I was on this call with some brokers that have been in the business 30 plus years and reliant on this 1,000 pound gorilla that they believe hung the moon. And it's the only way for them to truly do their business and to truly have access to information. And so in that call, I did a screen share, logged into our eXp enriched system, and I said, give me any address that you want, any address. And so I type it in, and within seconds, I was able to show them not only who owned the property, what else that owner owned as far as a portfolio that was about 26 different properties across the United States, but also the liens, also the mortgages, also the building permits that had been pulled throughout the course of his ownership of this property. And so I wanted to interject there because in that moment, I saw their face of, whoa, what, and who owns this? And I said, eXp does, and it's yours.
And that's great because I was actually on the phone with one of your downstream the other day who's on the realty side who says, I have to touch commercial because I'm in a market that only has a couple of thousand people. Yeah. And he said, well, what do you have in Ashland, Kentucky? How many thousand people are in that market? Well, so all I did was type in Ashland, Kentucky into our platform, and there's 2,100 commercial properties in this market.
And that's a teeny tiny little city.
Correct. So that's the depth of this platform that we have. Now, here's a good example in that tiny market. Here is a property that is owned by, So here's a property. It's a Kohl's, right? Our platform is the first commercial guesstimate platform out there, similar to Zillow. Now, listen, it's not perfect, and that's why it's taken a long time for somebody to create this type of algorithm, because you have buildings that have been held for generations and buildings that are hundreds of years old, and that throws off algorithms in a ways in the commercial market that we just don't know how to handle yet. But in general, on more than 80% of the properties out there, we're pretty spot on. The reason I know that is because we work hand in hand with valuation companies. This platform was built by MAI appraisers. And we work hand in hand with appraisal companies to do appraisals side by side to these guesstimates. And we've been as close as 1%. We've been as far as 10% on average in general, but we're really close. And we truly believe that our guesstimate values is much tighter than what you find in Zillow on the residential end. So this is a property that's in Ashland, Kentucky, a town of a couple thousand people. And here we have the information on the property, right? But we also know that this Frederick Casper is the signing authority for this Dinsmore investment group that not only owns this property in Ashland, Kentucky, but they own a lot more. Yeah. So now when this agent is talking to that property owner about this Kohl's, they now know that, maybe, and they're from Ashland, maybe they need support from the commercial group because they're talking about being an advisor to an investment fund, right? And so in one place, we're able to see all that was that property owner has. We're able to see that, this property that they've actually held on for more than 10 years because it's outside of what's available in the digital documents of that taxing authority, and they have no mortgages existing. So we know that they're sitting on it. And because of this type of data, what we've been able to do, the access to information on the property owners and breaking down that corporate veil, we've been able to create algorithms that help identify this Frederick Casper when that property, when that mortgage is coming due in 9 months, are they going to refinance or are they likely going to dispose of that asset? Because we are able to look at all these properties that are in their portfolio at the same time through all the algorithms that we built. So we're working side by side with eXp to implement an API in between the database, not only these websites that are available for you to view, but in between the database and the algorithms and Agent Hub to start feeding opportunities to the brokers. So start 9 months away from when the loan is coming due, so that way you can start the interaction with that property owner. So we're not only here to help you guys find opportunity, but we're going to start feeding those opportunities to you. So also, not only are you able to see, does this property have a loan, but 20 years ago, you had your typical, top 20 banks that were lending across the country, and you had your few, top local banks. Now there's 11,000 financial institutions across the United States lending on real estate. So our algorithms identify who are the lenders that are loaning on properties similar to this asset in that specific marketplace. And so it's not only the large guys, but it's not, it's everyone. And so now you're able to advise in a much better fashion to somebody who's looking to acquire an asset as to who their slim down who their approach is, right? And obviously we've got their tenants. So right now, what we do is we have a team of 450 researchers that their job is to confirm acquisitions, dispositions. Right now, we are confirming every property above that transacts above $2 million. And based on this relationship with eXp, we're expanding that because 60% of commercial properties in the United States are valued less than $2 million. And so what we do is we confirm both the buyer and seller. We go through our protocols, not to depend on brokers like others do, but actually start reaching out directly to the property owners to confirm, was this you? Is there space available? And try to create a conversation between us. And our goal is to push that relationship onto eXp because of the strategic relationship. Our goal is the name of our company is Enriched Data. It's called Enriched Data because it's the power of the data is having people touch it, having people create and add and correct the data rather than saying, the big giant, you're wrong. I'm not gonna use it for this market, this property type anymore. No, the goal is to get everyone in the ecosystem to be part of it and create we know that if an appraiser changes information, it's got a lot more value than if the local residential broker touched it, right? And so we create all these algorithms to help push the data to be the most clean possible.
And Ben, when we started down this relationship, however many months ago, of really working this out and how it was going to best benefit, our agents and our brokers, and working on the things, the different mapping and all the data and what we're adding to it, as much as we've had 10 years of geographically being one of the largest residential brokers in the country, and all of that data that we have accumulated, and now that we're putting into here as well as our new transactions. One of the things that I absolutely loved about it, and I get this question a lot, is from the tenant rep or the landlord rep. And they're saying, but I need the leasing information. I need that. I need to know what is that rent per square foot. I need to understand these rates. And that's what I've been able to do in this system, is just that. Even in a state like Texas, that's a non-disclosure state, I've been able to pull up those leasing comps so that I can tell this national franchisor, yes, buy this freestanding building. Yes, the lease rate's going to be on this. And so it's not just property records. It's not just ownership records. There's all of that data in here as well, too. And as we grow and scale, we're going to be adding even more.
Absolutely. And what separates this platform from every other database platform out there is this commercial assessment reporting system. eXp Cars is the first platform out there that's an analytical tool that's tied directly to the database. And so I'm going to stop sharing real quickly so I can have it load.
And what was so unique about this is when I created a package the other day, because one of the benefits of this is not just to get that correct broker opinion of value, and really the system's doing all the work. I mean, to be able to do a BOV in less than 30 minutes is just mind-boggling to me, when sometimes I would spend 3 days on these things, with having to go to 7 different platforms and different internet sites and public records and you name it to really grasp all of that data. Now I don't need to do all that because it's all in this system. And then as I'm doing the adjustments and the system's doing the adjustments for me, to be able to send that to a banker, to a lender, and they're like, wait a minute now, this is part of our underwriting process. You've just saved me all this time and effort. And then for them to hand that to the appraiser, who we've just, again, saved them all that time and effort. We've got a transaction right now that we've just been told by the lender that we just cut 19 days off of that time frame in the underwriting process. And that's valuable as well.
That is exactly our goal. Our goal with eXp is to bring down that closing process down to 10 days with access to data, with the access to partners like Villa Title and Comloan and all the people who want to integrate data, and eXp truly being a data company that caters to real estate professionals, to empower professionals. That is our joint goal, is to bring down the commercial transaction down to 10 days.
Which is absolutely powerful in the fact that, we all know how long it takes to close these deals, especially when you're trying to, accomplish a 1031 and you've got set timeframes, or maybe we want to get a deal closed before the end of the year. We've got a $55 million deal that the guy says, I got to close it this year. And we're like, well, let's get the contract going, right? And being able to use enriched data to help the lenders get through that process a lot quicker is value in itself.
I timed out. I'm just relogging back in. I apologize.
Well, sharing through Zoom sometimes delays.
It shut me down. So I'm just reloading it. So one of the reason why it takes time to load this document is because the average appraisal accounts for 1,300 fields. The average BPO accounts for 500 to 600 fields. And so when we load a property card, what we're doing is we're loading all that data behind that single property and all the comparables that the platform is identifying at the same time. So right now, when we're loading this property, it's loading tens of thousands of fields concurrently to make it available to you to analyze. Stephanie, can you load on your screen, because I'm having and I'll walk you through it.
Yeah, not a problem. Let me get there. Are we going to cars?
Go to cars. Yeah, I'm having an internet issue, I think. Okay, I'm up and running. I'm good now.
Oh, you got it? Okay, good. Perfect.
So this is CARS. This is the appraisal, the assessment writing program. So the moment you write in a property, it starts identifying all the information on the property without having to go map it, without having to go search the tax assessment board data and all that information. It starts pulling all the information into the platform for us. It starts adding in all the improvement information that's registered with the different authorities, the taxing authorities. It starts pulling in the property history. It starts in one location, we're able to see the sales. We're able to see the mortgage history on that property, just as we were able to see in that the other platform. But now we're able to use this in an analytical fashion. What's really cool about this platform is this platform, as I mentioned, was built by MAIs, but the largest shareholder of Enriched Data 8 years ago was a decent mid-sized property tax appeal consulting firm. Today, it's the largest real estate property tax consulting firm in the United States based on this algorithm right here. This algorithm applies to every single property, commercial and residential, across the United States to identify whether or not the property is potentially overtaxed. In a commercial building, $26,000, that's $26,000 of profit that's going to the government every year. And at a 5.5 cap on an office, that's a great value add to our clients. So whether they're existing property owners and they're not looking to do anything at all, or whether you're working with them on a transaction, there's opportunity to engage with your clients, right?
And I love this, Ben, because junior agents into the business are always saying, Stephanie, how have you landed so many listings in your career? Well, it's all about giving that owner value, right? It's all about outworking your competition, but giving them information that is constructive to them. And this is exactly what this does is that you're able to just type in any address, and that's it. Type in any address, and it automatically is doing this. Yeah, it's going to take some time to load, like Ben said, because there's so many fields it's grabbing from. But you're going to see when they made property improvements. You're going to see, the permits pulled. You're going to see the loan information. But more importantly, with this algorithm, it's going to give you a tool and a beautiful report that you can print out or email to that property owner and say, hey, Phil, just wanted you to know something. I was doing some research, looking at selling another building in your location, pulled up your building for some information, and my system told me that you're paying, what was this one, 23% more than what they should be in property tax? What was that algorithm?
32%.
Or the 22? 32.
$26,000.
$26,000. So basically, you can give him this tool. He can go to the tax assessor's office in appeal time, give them this report, and they're going to re-tax or basically redo his estimate, because a lot of times this will happen. And so you're giving them something of value. You didn't ask them to list the building, but who are they going to remember when they're looking to buy or sell something? You, because you've given them value and you've asked for nothing in return.
Absolutely. And absolutely. I love that. And so just continuing on, we are all about technology and data and all that. And just as you guys, our goal is to allow people to work from the beach, work from wherever they want. And if they're not in that market, and I need to send this to Stephanie to go do an inspection for a property that my client here in Arizona has in Kentucky, I'm just going to send her this link to be able to fill out these few pages of information, so that way I get my local inspection performed and all that, right? So it's all about interaction between each other. So without going to any third party applications, the platform identified for me comparables in the market that transacted. You can adjust what your range of search is easily through different the different searches. But without having to go to third parties, that's done for me. And not only is the information there, but the comp detail is there for each comparable as well. So just lots of time savings opportunity for you guys to analyze assets for your clients in a much quicker fashion, right? And automatically thrown into adjustment grids built by MAI appraisers. So this is, it can be as in depth or quick as you guys make it be. Right. And as Stephanie was saying, she only had to go here in Texas, where it's a non-disclosure state, to identify properties that for lease information. So in this state, because we have had such great, as I mentioned, the founder, the largest shareholder of this group is a property tax firm that's based out of Texas. What we have is 250,000 properties that we have the P&Ls, the expense reports, the rent rolls, and we're able to utilize that on a regular basis in Texas without giving away information on our confidential information on our clients. And the API that we're developing between eXp and Enriched Data is going to allow you guys to utilize that, just like we're able to API to Reese and other platforms, eXp data is going to be the most current data that's out there, right? Because no matter who you're talking to, the big boys or us, we're always going to be 4 to 6 weeks or more behind the data that it actually is issued to taxing authorities. So the power of that, having the eXp API into this, is we're going to be able to give more real-time analysis, especially as this eXp platform grows and grows the way that we've seen it. What was the number? 900 new agents and brokers last week alone?
Last week alone. Well, and it's because of this, right? I mean, like I said early on, we're not just building the state-of-the-art real estate brokerage for eXp commercial, and then also on eXp Realty. But we are all agent owners of this company. As you transact, you are in stock in this company. The stock is eXp World Holdings, which owns a lot of different successful companies, from our Verbella platform to eXp Realty, eXp Commercial, to Showcase IDX, which is all kinds of great information when it comes to real estate property information, to Success. The Success brand, and Success Lending now that's launching. And so as we're able to utilize each and every one of these businesses, and now having eXp enriched data as one of those additional companies that we all own as agents here, we all own stock in this. And what other brokerages out there can truly say they own their own data warehouse, right? No, they are subscription users. They are paying for licenses to somebody else. And we've all had these conversations, and I've said this more than once, probably already today. But, some of that data we purchase from these third-party companies are basically having a call center call a broker and say, hey, what did you lease that for? And I've been one of those brokers on the other end of it as I'm driving down the road, getting the next deal, busy, maybe my kids are screaming in the background. And when they call me to get that lease per square foot, I don't remember right then and there because they're calling me 9 months later. And that's what I love about this system is we don't have to wait 9 months to get our data back and that data be wrong. This is accurate data because it's pulling from all the avenues as to where people need to utilize it. Appraisers, lenders, property owners, brokers, you name it, all over the place. And that's what the power of this is.
So let me go into exactly what that is you're stating and how this platform plays a role in that communication and interaction between all these players. These are all the different players that touch data and need the data in order to make some type of informed decision. As you said, appraisers, buyers, CMBS, analysts, portfolio managers, lenders, owners, tax consultants, brokers, developers, property managers, data providers, and the appraiser. All require this data. So once this data is uploaded into this platform, their rent rolls, their revenues, the expenses, you no longer have to provide access to a data room where they have to go copy paste, and put together their analysis. Now, what they're able to do is come look at the capitalization rate, identify, well, is it 9% too high, too low, make an adjustment, go to the comps, make some adjustments there, or say, you know what, I actually know of another comp that just transacted last week, add it into here, right? And make the adjustments like that. And then all I have to do right now, once I make that adjustment, so for instance, right now, it's showing that it's a 4.49 million value on the income approach. If I change that 8.75, we're now at 4.6 million. I like that as my conclusion. I'm now going to come back here and say, Stephanie, this is my client's offer. And you can see why. Right. And right at this moment, Stephanie has this exact same report in her inbox.
Yeah.
There's no back and forth. And it's amazing the time savings that happens. And for that same reason, once the buyer and seller come to conclusion and they need a valuation to support the loan, all they have to do is share that with the eXp valuation team. And now what took 20 to 20 and now what took 20 to 25 hours of production time to write a appraisal on this type of office building, with this interaction with the buyer, the seller, all updating all the fields and all the information being inputted here and managed here, that valuation can be completed in 45 minutes.
And that's exactly what this is about. I mean, it was so funny. The first time we ever showed this to Jason Gessing, our CEO, prior to eXp Realty, he's an attorney, but he did BPO, broker price opinions. He used to have to do 14, 15 a week. It would take him, he said he would spend, 12 hours a day just filling out these reports, just manually inputting, right? Being on the MLS, being on this site, manually inputting all this. And I spent a lot of my time in my career doing the same thing. It was just monotonous, boring, just, doing all that manual work. And that's why I got so excited about this. I'm not in the industry anymore of doing BPOs every single day, but man, with this, you can kick out 3 in an hour or less and move on and do other things. So many of us brokers would turn down BPOs because it was just time consuming. Now we have the ability to get back into that business. And with what is happening in the economy, right? I mean, we've had a strong real estate market for a long time, but the need for more of these BOVs and BPOs for the lending institutions, they're coming about, right? Why not have this system, which is why we wanted it to be built so fast and have it at our fingertips so that our agents really can be out, instead of being behind the computer all day doing these reports manually, they can be out grinding, doing what they do and spending very little time behind this and having a literal machine doing the work for them with the right access. So it's tremendous.
It's really important what you just said is, yes, it's AI driven. 100% it's AI driven, but the conclusions are not. The conclusions are driven by human beings. And that's what makes the difference between all the AVM programs out there, the evaluation companies out there, that they're driven by non-valuation professionals. They're driven by non-brokerage professionals. They're driven by people who found the opportunity to get involved in that $9 billion industry of giving estimations of value, right? And this is the opportunity to stand out, have a product and a report that provides more in-depth analysis with the time savings that you were not able to provide to receive earlier through all the copy and paste and Excel to Word and then to PowerPoint platforms that everyone has been traditionally working off of.
Absolutely, Ben. Well, I am so glad that we were able to have a sneak peek into this. I know this system is so robust. There's so much more in it. You all are doing a phenomenal job inside of eXp World, teaching these classes. I know there's one coming up later today, making sure that everyone is an expert at using this product. And for all of those affiliated with eXp Realty or eXp Commercial, you have the opportunity. At eXp Commercial, this is part of your value package. This is part of that $250 per month tech fee that gets you 8 different softwares to drive, build, scale your business, plus this machine that we've built for you. At eXp Realty, you have an opportunity to opt into this. Who can't opt into this are those that aren't affiliated with eXp Realty or eXp Commercial, because this is proprietary and it's proprietary to us. This is what we're doing every single day as we make sure that we're not just building, that scalable brokerage, but we're building a self-sufficient brokerage that we're not relying on any third-party system in order to build and grow our business. So make sure you reach out to us if you have an interest in discussing eXp Commercial or eXp Realty, and we will absolutely have you opt into the system. This is inexpensive on the realty side too, Ben, because, the agents reach out to me all the time and they're like, oh my gosh, why is this $450 a month? And I'm like, you know what? Don't spend it. Opt into eXp Enriched Data for $60 a month. For $60 a month, you have access to the entire United States and you have the ability of what Ben showed you today. Super inexpensive. Again, eXp Commercial, it's included in our $250 tech fee. And
coming soon will be this car's version for the residential side as well. So it gives you the opportunity as a commercial guy who's helping out your friend on a personal acquisition of their home. You can be more supportive to the process with them and get a larger fee from that referral to the residential agent locally, right? There's just greater opportunity across the board. And Stephanie, I know that where I have seen so much interaction with eXp agents is they've been calling me saying, I have a big wig that I want to bring on board under my downstream. And I know this is the missing piece. Come onto a call with me. And that has now happened over the last month. I've probably been on 65 calls with different brokers who are thinking about coming into the platform.
And they don't believe it until they see it. And then when they see it, they're like, you got to be kidding me.
And I'll tell you what, this has been a major deciding factor for many of them. And because of that, downstreams are starting to grow really fast. And we're very happy to be a part of that for eXp.
Well, we're happy you're our business partners. And, as we scale globally, we will also scale eXp enriched data globally as well. So we have so much to do with this product. It's never going to be complete. It will constantly grow and constantly be built to service everybody at eXp Commercial and eXp Global. So stay tuned, everybody. Make sure you like us on LinkedIn, Facebook. Pay attention to all the eXp Commercial live events that we have coming up. We're going to be in New York for C5 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with a special September 28th at 5 p.m. at the Marriott Marquis, an eXp Commercial Live. Come network if you're in the area. Ride the train, come in. We're going to be there from 5 to 8. Doesn't cost anything, but please register for the event at expcommercial.live. Thank you, everyone. We will be back next week with a special guest that will